Imagine being live.
No, we're never live.
Nah. Oh,
Welcome
live.
to episode 7 of the Saver Slate podcast. Before we begin, let's talk about things we watched. Dylan, we'll start with you because you're the top of
Mm.
the order. What
Yeah,
did you watch in the week that we've been gone?
I finished Your Lie in April.
Let's
How did how
go.
did how did that feel?
Uh, I cried, and I
Let's
really
go.
liked it. And then immediately asked Sean to give me something more manly to watch, and he gave me Parasite the Maxim,
Yeah.
which I finished within 2 days.
Good.
Nice.
And
How'd
good.
that go?
And I really liked that show. That show was really good. And now I have nothing.
You're filled with this emptiness, huh?
We'll find
But
you. We'll find
I
you
want
some
to start watching fuck.
Critical Role.
No. I mean.
You should watch The Rising of Shield Hero.
Yo,
107.
you should watch The Rising of Shield Hero.
That's what I'll watch.
Just run it
Cool.
out, dude.
Dash.
I watched the last episode of Wandering Witch, which was a fucking banger, actually. Unironically.
We also watched it. Everyone but Jackman.
Holy shit,
Dog
we got
shit
this
show.
guy into it. And I watched the entirety of Violet Evergarden in 2 days and made it to episode 5 before proceeding to cry like a bitch for the next 8 episodes. This show's really good.
Without spoiling it for Michael, what's episode 5? Is that the umbrella?
Oh,
is that
it
later?
might have been. It might have been the umbrella. I don't remember. I just remember episode 5 is where I got to, and then it's just like, all right, why is it raining? Why is it downpouring? I took off my glasses once and noticed that like it was just like just sprinkled with water, and I'm like, when did I run the glasses through the wash? It
Or
was
just
that show
projectile
is
tears. They're just going
projectile
straight.
tears, I guess.
I got
perpendicular.
outward
No,
instead
yeah,
of
we're-
Just
down.
from like wiping my eyes and like closing my eyelids, it was
There
just
is-
You're just a
splashing in my
fucking
glasses.
spitting cobra.
There is
It was
there is a
it was
movie
bad,
coming.
dude.
There's a movie coming.
There's already a movie out.
I haven't found it aired yet.
Oh, you haven't found a translation?
Yeah, I don't think it's been aired that we've
I'll
gotten
find
it for.
I'll find it.
Because everywhere I've seen, there's just the trailer for it. There might be a recap movie. I wouldn't be surprised if that exists, like Me and Abyss does. But if you could find it, I'll definitely. I thought it. Well, I thought it got postponed to air because of COVID, so it's coming out. I think next season. I thought, but
I fucking loved that show. I think it gets. I can see why people aren't interested in it because it's very straightforward, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like, I think it does. Everything's beautiful. The characters are wonderful, and everything about that show is amazing. So you should watch it.
oh, certainly. Anything else, Dash?
Also, I want to talk about Wandering Witch. Where it actually had
Sure.
like super exciting murder mystery. Okay, so here's what happened in this episode, guys. For the 2 people who haven't watched this, 'cause I know you
It's
haven't
only
watched it.
Jackman.
Really? Papa watched it?
He watched it with us.
we
Yeah.
watched it with him.
Holy fucking Christ! So
Yeah, you're not gonna believe what else we
so-
fucking
so
watched.
Shit, I
Elena
told
comes-
him already.
so Elena comes in and she's like in this town and she's like, oh man, I'm hungry and broke. This sucks. And then she gets a flyer that's like, hey, I need immediate help from witch with quick pay and stuff. So she goes and meets this other witch, and it's this lavender witch, and she tells her the story of her friend back 10 years ago when she was a child. She was friends with this one girl who moved away because her parents were fucking murdered by a cloaked mysterious figure. And so she moves away, and then she lived with her uncle, and then she proceeded to kill her uncle after getting abused by him, and then eventually gets executed, as it turns out, by her best friend, now a witch. So she wants to go back in time 10 years to save her parents from being murdered, so that way her friend can live a happy life, like in an alternate timeline, basically, like a diverging timeline, through that time theory. If you ever heard that one where it's like there's no butterfly effect, but it's like there's a separate timeline that is created
Yeah.
where we still exist on our timeline, but that timeline goes on a different path, basically. And so they channel the magic. They go back in time, 10 years, and they're like, they run into the girl, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy you're alive." And she's like, "Okay, weird, One-san, go away." And so like, okay, we gotta go find the parents. So they show up at the parents' place, and the parents are like, "We don't believe it. You're not the same childhood friend from 10 years in the future." And the dad's like, "Well, I mean, her neck looks kind of the same." And the mom's like, I guess maybe." And so they believe him, and so they they escort them away down an alley. And then Elena like kind of like goes off on her own for a bit, and then she notices like this magic ring that she's tethered with this other mage with is using some magic because it like combines them so they can have more overall pool for the 10 years thing. By the way, they're on an hour time limit, so they go. She's like, okay, what's going on? She's fighting somebody. Turns the corner of this alleyway, and what does she see? She sees the fucking little girl with a bloody knife, the friend from back in time, stabbed both the parents and the Lavender Witch, and is standing over her fucking bleeding corpse, just with this bloody, teethy grin, and just turns and looks at Elena and just starts walking at her, kicks the fucking Lavender Mage towards her, and then steps on her body, and then the Lavender Mage gets up, fucking throws this bitch against the wall with magic, and chokes the fucking life out of her with magic and murders her ass before going back to the normal time period, using her memories as additional magic to kill her best friend 10 years in the past. And that was the episode.
It's solid. It's the
It
best.
was
It's
fucked.
the best thing the show's given it
It was
the whole
fucked,
season.
dude.
So you're
Like,
telling me Elena, once again, did nothing.
I mean, yes.
Pretty much.
She didn't do anything.
I mean, she's very justified this episode.
She
Not doing
offered up her
anything 'cause
magic
she's
to be
fucking
used by the other witch.
traumatized.
She also then doesn't take the pay at the end.
So nothing.
Which,
nothing
I
prevents
knew
her-
it was something that would have pissed you off, Jackman.
Yeah, I kind of want to get as
Great.
far away from crazy as possible, but like that was a good episode. That was fucking crazy.
Glad the storyline still pays out that she just does nothing.
Michael, talk about what you watched this week,
So
and
I
also in
watched-
turn what I watched this week.
yes, so I watched Terror in Resonance, a show about terrorism. That's it. That's all I can tell you. Nothing else is allowed. Japan gets blown up by numbers. That's the plot.
That's very
What
good.
about Akudama Drive?
No,
we
but,
can
like,
we
not-
can give
but
a
those
little.
aren't numbers.
We can give a little more. It's two hype. It's two
Hyper
high
intelligent
functioning
people.
intelligent kids who act as terrorists against the Japanese government and nation, and the idea is that they start to challenge the Japanese police to stop their bombs from going off by giving them hints and clues. So it's like a game of cat and mouse between them. There's a lot of other stuff that goes on in those 11 episodes. It's by the same director and like studio team who does Cowboy Bebop and Space Dandy and all of that stuff. Visions of Escaflowne, I believe, is also them.
They did a lot of things.
They do a lot of really good stuff.
They also did the music video for Linkin Park's Breaking the Habit.
Yeah, the artist does the same stuff there. I don't want to talk too much about it because I love it, so there's a lot of bias there.
It's a really good show. Everyone
It's-
should watch
Its
it.
music's phenomenal. Is kind of the big thing.
Icelandic music.
It's Iceland.
Who would have
Wait.
known we needed Icelandic rock in our life?
Wait, is this like a drama show or an
It's-
anime?
It's a anime.
What was it called again?
Terror
in
in
Resonance.
Resonance. It's like classified as like an adventure thriller. It's really hard to pin down by genre what it is.
It does a lot of things.
Yeah.
Do they rock climb?
No, they don't- they don't rock climb.
They do not rock climb.
Shit, garbage show then.
Yeah.
What else did you
Fuck.
watch, Michael?
I
I would
also
need a
watched.
link to find this.
I'll
I
give
don't
it
know
to
if I
you.
meant-
Yeah.
I watched The Rising of the Shield Hero.
Again?
Um,
Or just first time?
this is my first time watching it.
I watched it
Ooh.
again.
Yeah, Sean watched it again with me. Other than the last like 4 episodes.
How does it work on the second watch through?
I mean it. Man,
I enjoyed it.
I walked out episode 1 and went, wait a minute, now Fumi's happy. That's weird. I'm like, you have to be really early in the show.
True.
Yeah,
Uh,
so
I
I
have,
watched it dubbed because
yeah,
Don't spoil.
I-
Don't spoil.
I-
Pablo still hasn't seen
yeah.
it.
We won't spoil, but
Yeah.
we watched. I watched it dub. The dub voice for Naofumi's really good. He does a really
the dub
good
voices
job.
are all really good, except for one character introduced in episode 24 or 25. Is there 25 episodes? I don't remember. In the last episode, they introduced a new character, and her voice made me want to shoot myself.
Pablo, I will 100% watch that show with you.
Second
That was it.
Shield
It's
Hero.
Rising of the Shield Hero.
Oh.
Second watch through of it. You like. It's just as strong. I don't, in my opinion, because I like it. I think it's just as strong as it was the first watch through. I didn't realize how good and fast that show's pacing is. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
like I was sitting there with Michael. I was like, I know this has to happen, and this. I'm like, oh wow, we're here. Oh yeah, no, that makes sense on the timeline because we started watching. I was like, how does what happens in the in the one season of 24, 25 episodes, how does all of it happen? And I was like, wow, yeah, no, this show does a really good job with it. And my two biggest problems still stand with the show even on a rewatch through. And I'll if Dylan watches it and finishes it and we talk about it then and we've all seen it, then I'll express what they are. They're not
Yeah.
like there are things that I think can be easily fixed in season 2 and I hope are fixed in season 2, but I think they hold the show back just a bit. If you want
Yeah.
to talk a little without spoiling, Michael, I mean, you're the one who watched
I-
it.
I don't know.
New.
I think the show was really good. So recently over this after I finished it, I went to find another show to watch. I've watched the first episode of The Golden Kamuy. Didn't watch the second because the bear is the bear and the show didn't really hook me. And I went to watch a Danmachi. Didn't even get halfway through the first episode before turning it off because the show just
Really?
didn't hook me. I don't think it's a bad show. It just didn't hook me the way Shield Hero did. Shield Hero's beginning is so good. Like its
Yeah.
first episode is amazing. Obviously, it's an
that's-
hour-long episode,
It's a
but
very different like
Yeah.
style of show too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I then started watching Blood Blockade Battlefront, and I'm through the first like 2 episodes of that. That show is really good.
Hey Sean, I'm gonna pass you something that don't mention where you got it from, but I might have
Okay,
found
cool.
the thing you're
The
looking
movie.
for.
Got it.
Yeah, I acquired
Uh,
a link for it. We'll say.
Jackman, Terror and Resonance is on Hulu and Funimation, right, Michael?
Ooh.
We watched
Um,
we watched it on both.
yes, it's on both. Yes.
Because we started on Funimation, we're like, I wonder how the ads are, and then we went to Hulu because
And they were the same.
it was more convenient. Yeah. But I'll post the name in chat so that you know how to spell it.
Perfect.
Terror in Resonance. And I see that.
English is hard.
Yeah. Anything? Yeah. So that was it, right? Yeah, that's the Japanese name for it.
Yeah.
Anything
Um,
else, Michael?
No. Oh, I started playing Tales of Berseria, but that's completely unrelated to anime.
No, that's basically an anime.
Tales is basically an anime.
And
from a
and
different
not gonna
anime.
lie, Velvet could step on me.
Michael,
So-
I haven't played the game, but that's true. I watched
Bruh,
Sean play it,
Velvet
and I
would
think I
step
said that
over you
Yeah.
and through
Yeah.
you. She
do you-
doesn't give a fuck.
do the Discord a favor and get a photo of Velvet,
Velvet?
for yeah.
No.
Get both versions of Velvet.
What? Where she
'cause-
has clothes and where she doesn't?
No.
Like-
Well, I mean, kind of, but
We talking about like
Get,
her
like-
like
She
pre
had,
and
like,
post time
a-
skip?
yeah, get like start of the game Velvet and like what you play as Velvet, because both have very strong energies.
Not prisoner Velvet.
While we don't grab a shot of Prisoner Velvet. Jackman, while he's doing that, anything you watched?
The only thing new that I watched was episode 1 of Doro.
Dora.
Yes.
That show's
first episode.
fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
And I just haven't watched the second episode yet. And then other than that, I'm at 107 on Critical Role Campaign 2.
You're literally past me.
Yeah, we really have to put in some work, Dylan.
Holy
I
shit.
just really couldn't get into campaign 2 with Critical Role.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And while y'all were fucking talking, I randomly made a fucking really good bowline knot in my sweaty hoodie.
I see that. Yeah,
Good.
Yeah.
it's powerful.
I read the latest chapter of My Hero Academia.
Mm.
That was pretty good.
Only other thing I watched, because I didn't do my usual stuff yet this week because I went home, so I haven't had time to sit down and watch
Fuck.
my German anime. But I
Attack on
did
Titan?
not that one, Mahurst. Zeist.
Wait.
We did watch Tonikawa, Michael, Dylan, and I.
Let's go.
Oh.
I know how much. You two also watched it, right, Dodgen?
Yeah.
We
I
probably
watched it.
have
I
a
don't
very.
know why I
The
don't.
three of us probably have. I don't know how Michael feels. I think Dylan and I probably have a very different opinion than you two do about this week's episode. I'm glad that show's gone.
I'm so happy their house burned down.
Hey, but now it just leads into a better episode where they actually go house buying.
They were like, their house burned down. I'm like, yes, yes, let's go.
Yo, shoutouts to that plant that survived their house fire.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only thing that survives fires is plants.
And see what they were going to do with it is then they're going to transplant it to another pot.
Yeah, wonderful.
He
Uh,
said that word and I lost it.
We had to look up 2 words while watching Wander. We had to look up a word while watching Wandering Witch and a word while watching Tonikawa because we didn't know what it was. So we stopped and Googled.
No, it
them.
was only during Wandering Witch. I think I made a joke about a word in
Oh,
Tony
Wait,
Kava.
what
okay.
words did you not know what they meant?
It was only the. Then it was only
Transplant?
Wandering Witch. It was.
What is the word? I need to look up my search history.
It was
see what
about
it was.
it. The word means to like convert to a religion. It
Conversion?
the small. No, it's not that simple. The small child. Her friend says it to her as like older her is like hugging her.
Yeah,
Does it
let's
start with a
see.
P?
Oh, proselytizing.
Yeah, that. Fuck that word.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
the action of attempting to convert someone from one religion, belief, or opinion to another. Because the idea is that the young child version thinks that she's like some weird religious fanatic,
Because
saying,
she's like,
"Oh,
I'm going
God,
to
like
save you.
yeah, like Jesus will save you," kind of thing. Like, but I will save you.
That actually makes a lot of sense in context.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
It makes sense. I'm like, what is the word
That is
proselytizing? Because none of us
amazing.
knew what it meant, and it really helps that that joke actually work.
By the way, Dodge, if you ever want to get anyone sold on Wandering Witch, just show them this episode first, because our buddy Vinny watched it with us, and he was like, I might check this out. I'm like, you poor man.
No.
Yeah, but then
Wait,
you
wait,
watch
wait.
the first and second episode and you're like, wow, this show's actually dog shit. What the fuck happened?
It's actually not that bad.
Dylan, do you want to
First
talk
and second
about
were
Tonikawa?
fine.
It's
No.
it's a solid like 6 out of 10. It's just average. Like it's nothing special.
Villain,
That's a little
or
high for
Josh,
average.
You had an amazing point that you made to me earlier this week when you started
What?
watching Violet Evergarden about Wandering Witch. I don't know if you
What?
remember it.
I don't- That's great because I don't remember the point I made either.
Oh my god. Okay, let me
Very
just go to our
helpful.
DMs real quick.
I go to DMs. Leak DMs.
to quote Dodge, Wandering Witch is just poverty's Violet Evergarden.
Yeah, no. Wait, that's for sure correct. Like it's just like great world design, pretty interesting character potential, and then just nothing happens versus Violet Evergarden where everything happens.
There's a cohesive story in Violet Evergarden. It helps it a
And I
lot.
Violet
thought to
Evergarden
myself,
is a
I'm like,
very
that makes
straightforward story.
sense.
Michael,
It's
what
a
was
very
what was the way that Drawfee described Violet Evergarden as?
Violet Evergarden is a story about a girl who writes letters. That's
yeah.
it.
There was
That's
more.
the
There was
plot.
more to it than that. It was also like it's also like a self-help show, like
Something
just
like
a show
that.
about depression.
Violet
There was more
Evergarden is
about
a
that.
show about realizing that life goes on regardless of what you've done and
No, it's
how
a show
you
about writing letters. I don't
how
know what
you
you're
adapt to
talking
that.
about.
Like
All I've seen is her write
it's-
letters.
it's
How
a
can she write
very
letters when she doesn't have hands?
that's not true. She got
Stop
mechanical
it.
thingies.
Let's talk.
Fingies.
Let's
Okay,
get it.
let's talk-
Let's get into the podcast.
Perfect.
So we have 5 shows left. We have 5 shows left.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
They all suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the worst week of anime we've ever watched.
Bring my Asetsu back.
I feel like this is actually
Hot.
such a, like before we talk. I think this actually was a pretty weak week for
It was
every single show, like including our 2
I
favorites. Like
strongly disagree.
it was very mid for those 2.
I think it was a good information dump for both of them.
I enjoy this week a lot for basically everything in my book, so we're gonna have some differing opinions here this week already. But let's talk about Akadama Drive. We pick back up with the rocket ship. It is apparently going to the moon, despite the fact that it very much does not look like it was going to last episode.
It's just perspective.
It gets out of the ozone layer, then runs out of fuel and falls back down. Swindler hits the ejection button. Her and sister are saved. They wind up landing in a lake, probably on the outskirts of Kansai, based on how they word it. Swindler goes and finds sister stuck under parts of the rocket, gets her out of there. And then they start to make their way back to Kansai, like the main city, to kind of go back to a normal life, is what Swindler hopes. We see the head of the executioner getting chastised for letting the Akadamas escaped, and she's instructed to kill all of the Akadamas involved. So we'll have to see if that holds true to Doctor or not. I get the feeling they aren't going to pull any punches on that, despite the deals they made. We then cut to Doctor, who is investigating the blood, who's investigating Brother's blood, and based on her small glances at it, believes it'll probably lead to her finding the secret to immortality. She kills some Doctor, takes the blood, get upset for them calling her an Akadama. We then cut to Swindler cursing in front of Sister, and she's like, no, I promise, I'm a good person. This is the Akadamas. It's their fault. I'm actually a good moral person. Please trust me. And then we cut back to the executioners. We see Pupil now with 2 lightsabers and a eye patch. As you know, they try to pair her with a new partner, and she's like, "Yeah, no, fuck that. I'm gonna go kill the Akadamas on my own because that's the promise I made to my master." And the head of the executioners is like, "No, you're being dumb. You just want to die. I can
You just
tell.
sound angry.
Yeah, stop being angst and partner with this weirdo who we have here for you." We then cut back to Swindler. Her and Sister go to buy some takoyaki. And as she goes to buy some food, she sets off an alert because, yeah, idiot, you're still an Akadama. That hasn't changed. Sucks to be you. The police come. They do a little. She runs around. They then go to find a spot in a garbage outpost, a garbage treatment plant. We then cut to Hoodlum, who's down on his luck. Almost goes to buy some drugs, where Doctor interferes, and then we get a very intimate scene between the two of them where she crushes him. Uh, and he confesses he knows where Brother is because he put a tracker on Brother's trinket. Uh, and they look at it and they go, "That's weird. He shouldn't be in that spot if he was taken by the executioners." And then we cut to Courier, who is in possession of Brother's trinket. Uh, and we see that he had saved Brother, and Brother had given him the trinket, telling him to keep it safe. And Brother is taken by the executioners, and we know this. We then cut back to Swindler and Sister, who make their way inside the facility. They eat some canned food together. They get some new clothes, take a bath. She kind of fixes up Sister's hair, then she cuts her own, which we'll have to have a heated discussion about how we feel about that decision. Uh, they then get ready to pack their stuff up and go, and 3 thugs walk in, and they start talking about trying to sell Swindler and Sister. Uh, yeah, because they're creepy and bad. Swindler picks up a canned food lid that is very sharp and gouges a man's eye out with it. To then which she kind of chills back down a bit, hides a knife behind her back, and just says that, yeah, she'll strip for this guy. He just has to, get on eye level with her crotch, and then she stabs him in the head. She then shoots the other guy remaining, but the one she stabbed is not dead, to which Courier walks in and shoots him. She then passes out, wakes up later, and she convinces Courier that, this is the place that she belongs now. She has nowhere else to go. She needs to go find Brother for Sister, she is now acting as an older sister for. Courier agrees to do it, takes the job, and they hop on his bike and get ready to go. We get our post-credit scene of Cutthroat tracking Swindler. Next week's episode's called The Shining. Nothing can go horribly wrong with our knife stabby boy. Nothing at all.
Nope.
I really like this episode of Akadama. I think this is a very solid episode of Akadama, not for the reasons that like the brother master fight episode is, but because I think this is a very good episode for Swindler's character. Uh, I think she has to go through a character change at some point, and I think everything in this episode feels very natural as a lot of her stuff gets stripped away from her. Uh, let's open this discussion. How do we feel about the short hair Swindler?
It's
trash.
dog shit.
It's trash. I get it, but it's trash.
I didn't like it at first. I think it really depends on the angle of the shot they give me of it. There are a couple shots where I really don't like it, and then otherwise I don't have a problem with it.
I feel like the problem with it is that with short hair, from certain angles, she looks too much like the boy,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh god, what the fuck? Like maybe change their eye color next time. Like holy
No,
shit.
like don't get me wrong, it's something that had to happen, right? It makes sense like logically. It's just it's bad. Doesn't look good on her.
Yeah, it looks.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. I
She's
feel
very
like
cute.
any of the
She's very
characters in
meh.
this would look great with short hair. Like all of the characters, if you look, have somewhat hair on like the semi-long side.
Yeah.
I think all of them would look weird with short hair. Like, I think the shortest hair we had was Hacker.
Hacker,
Looking at the poster, and his wasn't even that short.
certainly.
I mean,
But the-
Hoodlum's kind of is short because he is a
Pompadour.
whatever. Yeah, he has a pompadour, so the entire side is super short.
It doesn't count though.
Yeah,
What are other thoughts this week for Akadama?
I think this episode is really good. Like the way you said for showing Swindler's character, she's finally like not kind of devolving or turning into the persona of what an Akadama would be. She's finally understanding, yeah, she's a criminal now. She kind of needs to live like this. She can't just live her normal life, getting her 500 yen ramen bowls or takoyaki. She needs to fend for herself in different ways because she can't go to stores because her bank account's been locked as an Akadama. This is really neat.
Yes, I like this episode. I liked the fact that Cutthroat's still fucking alive and just still creepily
Yep.
looking for Swindler. I also really like what happened with Swindler. Like, she actually fucking killed people. Like, it was kind of nuts. That shit was metal. I was like, damn, I didn't think she actually killed people. But that might show that she's actually like, you know, she's willing to literally kill people for this child that she met like a day ago.
Yeah.
It's been like a day or two.
Like, yeah,
In a couple
um,
days.
which is a bit strange, but I do think it's really cool that she's actually like putting matters in her own hands and not just sitting on the sidelines anymore. Um, Obviously the episode's dope, but Doctor still creeps the shit out of me because I don't know what her fucking plan is.
She wants to be immortal,
She's an Akudama. She's not an Akudama,
but she's an
but she's just
Akadama.
She still murders
blatantly-
people.
She's
Yeah, she-
blatantly murdering people still. Like,
Literally just murdered 4 or 5 people.
Hey, who said you had to be an Akadama to murder people?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
we don't.
She's just gonna murder
Can
people
we
for
talk
free
about the
now.
fact
She
that
can no longer
Cutthroat
be a
said
criminal.
Can you talk about the fact that Cutthroat explicitly said it's because he wants to fucking kill her? Did you guys not
Yeah.
catch that?
I didn't even fucking see the end
Where
credit
Cut-
scene.
Where
It's
Cutthroat was looking for her, and he says, "Because I want to be the one to kill you." So he wants to kill fucking Swindler.
I don't think it's
Hmm.
Swindler.
I think
it's
guarantee
Doctor.
it's Swindler.
No,
I think it's
Swindler is his
Doctor.
princess.
Yeah, I think
that's
it's
why he
Doctor.
wants to
Angel.
kill her because
he
she is
says he needs,
pink.
his angel. He says he needs to find his angel.
I think he wants to kill his angel. That's his
mean,
ultimate goal.
considering next episode's called The Shining. I imagine we're
Yep.
gonna have an off the rails Cutthroat. I imagine he's gonna be as disgusted as half this podcast is with her new haircut.
That too.
That's
oh,
true.
That
I would
that
want to
might
kill
be
her.
why he wants to kill her.
Bingo.
Also, he
bingo.
drops the pink. She drops the pink outfit if she hasn't put it back on, right? Like if
True.
they're
I
running
mean,
with like those janitor outfits for
I thought he liked pink because her eyes were pink.
well that too, but
And her hair, I'm pretty sure too.
like her whole outfit's pinkish. But yeah, I think it is more the eyes.
I guess that was my read on it.
Hoodlum got fucking bodied by Doctor verbally as well. She kind of just called him out for everything that he does, for just being the type of person who just fakes everything. I'd like to see him shape up. I really would.
I don't think but like that's not his character. Like,
Yeah,
he's not supposed to be this hardened, resolved character. He's supposed to be a fucking lying pussy.
yeah.
Yeah, he's actually just a
that's
little
true.
bitch.
He's gonna stab someone in the back. You
I
already
think
know it.
I think we got what we were going to get out of him manning up when he fucking gouged the eyes out of people. I think that was the best we're gonna
mean,
get from him.
But
He
he
didn't
left
even
her
kill- he even
alive.
Yeah,
finished
he
the
didn't
job.
kill her. Yep. I mean, he also expresses that he was gonna rat the kids out. To the executioners anyway. That was why he placed the tracker. So, I mean, yeah, he definitely seems like he just wants out of this.
Mhm.
I
I
think.
mean, who at this point who doesn't? Besides Courier.
God, he's still like just. We know nothing about that man.
Yeah, he's
Besides
still
that, he just
fucking up.
does this job.
Where
just
is he?
vibing.
Where is he taking Swindler and the
I-
girl?
To where brother is.
Just to them. Okay,
That's what she
For
asked him
some
to
reason,
do.
he knows that.
Don't know what the plan is.
Yeah.
But
I don't think they have one. By the way, who's ready for this? Who's ready for this episode 12 MacGuffin of Hacker's drone to be important? Because it's just,
Oh yeah, that was
just
that was
here,
something
baby.
too.
Still hasn't done anything. She still
Yeah,
has it.
there was a very subtle scene where it kind of just zoomed in on the drone
Mhm.
and just
Yeah. I
I
didn't
told
do
you it'd be
anything.
important.
She just still has it. It's just sitting there. It's been here since what, episode 3 now?
I think so. Yeah.
Like 5, but yeah.
If she hasn't used it yet, knowing these creators, it means they're gonna do something dumb with it in the last episode.
Mm-hmm. And then it's gonna all turn into a bootstrap paradox, right?
They better not do fucking time bullshit in this show. I don't see how they
Crazy.
could.
Killer Queen.
If we're good with Akadama, we can move
You're
on.
already in his eye. He's already in your eye.
Are we
Killer
good?
Queen has already
Poblito.
touched this drone.
Are we ready to move on?
I think so.
Yeah.
Dylan,
Hi.
talk to me about They Became a God.
Of course. So, this episode of Day I Became a God starts out with like backstory shit, and it's Hina and the fucking physicist dude. I can't remember his goddamn name, but they call him Gramps. And basically, it's just talking to Hina and shit, saying some creepy shit that doesn't make sense to me. But basically, he's like, sounds like that guy's dying. And I think it's her grandpa.
Mhm.
Pretty sure. Not her dad, like I think we all might have thought. Maybe just me. But then there's a little more. I think they're like finishing up the filming shit. There's like blah blah blah. And Yoda comes back home and he asks his parents what they know about Hina, basically. And the conversation leads into them going like, "All right, we're gonna tell you fucking everything." And they're like, her Gramps knew he was gonna die, so he dressed her up in a nun outfit and told her to go find people who uh ended up luckily like completely just like basically said that the only reason you guys found each other was complete luck. But it's like they knew. But the mom Yoda's mom and dad are were mentored by Hina's gramp. um so they brought her in and basically just taking care of her because her mother died and the father abandoned her to go live a new life. So Yoda's like all fucking pissed. He's like, what the fucking father, blah, piece of shit. And he's like, I'm gonna go find him. And he was like, you know, maybe we just don't do it. And he's like, no, we're gonna do it. She's like, why? And he's like, because we need to know. She's like, don't you think bringing up painful things in my past isn't gonna do anything but hurt me? And Yoda's like, whoa, that was deep. And he was like, all right, let's go. I'm like, okay. Um, so they go to the dad's house and the dad is like, all right, yeah, come in, and sits down, and they fuck it, dude. They got me. They
Yeah.
got me. Like I was
Yeah.
pissed. They
I was
fucking
got
got
to for a
me.
while.
I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
She's
I was
actually
about to,
fucking dead.
I was like,
Basically,
it wouldn't make
basically-
sense based off
No,
that
it
scene.
wouldn't,
That's how
that's-
they really
I know,
that.
I know. I
It
thought about it, I was
wouldn't,
like, that.
but they almost got me. Almost got us with it though.
So Hina's sitting there at the fucking living room, and Yoda's sitting in the chair next to her, and the mom brings tea and only gives it to Yoda. And they just kind of like just the conversation coincidentally sounds like Yoda's the only one there. And he
She
starts
brings
freaking
2 things of tea.
he starts freaking the fuck out, thinking that she's like dead, a ghost or something. They can't fucking see her, and then it's like, oh yeah, can you just get my tea on your way back? And they're like, what the fuck? Um, and then they're like, this is Hina, by the way, and the dad's like, what the fuck? And the fucking wife starts flipping her fucking goose, and they're like, all right, we gotta go outside, and they're like, okay, and the dad's like, sorry to like take you out of my house, kick you out of my house like that, but I gotta tell you something. Basically, Hina had Logos syndrome, which unless the translation is wrong, that is not a thing. But basically, what the Logos syndrome is that your muscles and nerves slowly deteriorate until you can't communicate and you just die, similar to like ALS.
Yeah. You get
I think
it is
muscular
ALS.
atrophy and
Yeah.
cerebral atrophy. Or
And
something like that.
so he's like, Hina, like I left because I thought she was gonna die. Like I couldn't even talk to her. And Yoda's like, what the fuck? She's right there though. And he's like, yeah, I know, it's kind of fucking crazy. And then he kind of hints that the mom died because of it. I don't want to say suicide, but
That's
seemed
what it
like
sounds like.
I think it was
That
pretty
that's what
hard
they were trying to
hinted.
imply.
hinting towards it. Yeah, I just didn't want to. They didn't explicitly say it, so I don't want
Yeah.
to assume it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty implied. and then he's like, "Oh fuck, like that's fucked up." And the dude's like, "All right, um, let's see." And then yeah, so they like finish their fucking conversation to dad, and the dad tells Yoda. It was so ominous that I wrote it in because I actually didn't think it was important until after I thought about it. He tells Yoda that as like a parting warning, I guess, that the luster of a miracle is only temporary and that reality always sets in.
Mhm.
And then he left, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
That is a fucking inspiration. That is a quote right there. Not
It's like
inspirational. It is a quote.
super ominous, by the way. So
No
like
foreshadowing at all.
yeah,
Nope.
not at
Nope.
all. So like they fucking leave and like they go and they're just being stupid in their fucking house again. And then after scenes credit though, dad's house rings the doorbell and fucking hacker dude is there and is looking for Hina, I guess, still. And by the way, 4 days till the world ends. Okay, quick before you guys say anything. S- Someone's dying in 4 days, and I don't know who it is now.
Wait,
Hina.
no,
I
wait,
think it's
I
100%
don't
very
Hina at this
obvious.
point.
It's Tina. It's very obvious it's Tina.
Okay, here's my problem. They didn't say that Gramps was dead yet. They said he anticipated his death.
That's cool. They also said she couldn't fucking move, and now she's up and running. This is a temporary fix for her disease. She's dead in 4 days, or she's gonna be like severely crippled in 4
I
days.
think the Gramps did die.
The Gramps did die. I'm pretty sure.
That's the
He did
implication
some
I
magic
got.
stuff to implement his
He's
consciousness
actually
into
the
her.
goldfish.
He's actually Hina.
Okay. What is this fucking?
Metamorphosis, baby. He's the goldfish.
The Gramps is
tell you the
actually the
truth,
dog.
I actually didn't enjoy this episode.
Wild to me.
I
really
thought-
liked it.
I thought it was generally boring until the scene where they're sitting down, and I was like, "Holy fuck, is she actually just fucking dead the entire time?" And then it was revealed, and I was like, "Oh, I kind of already saw this coming
Mhm.
of like her possibly being the one to die. Who knows if that's how it is, but I generally just thought this episode was boring to me."
Dude, when they did that like that pool, I was like, oh wow, I'm actually interested in like how they're gonna fucking
I
explain
know.
this.
So
And then
was
they're like, haha, just kidding. And I'm like, all right, back to not caring about this show.
I mean, there was no way to explain it. She's been recorded for a movie.
It almost had me. It almost had me. That
But
that's why
yeah.
it would have been interesting though. It was
I
like,
mean,
how are
the
you gonna explain what's happened?
The only way that could have fucking worked was if the explanation was that like you're in like he's outside the parameters of some kind of BS like garbage like simulation that causes Hina to appear for them, and that by leaving their area like she stops existing. But that'd be
What?
wild. Like
What?
like see like look how dumb that
Alright, you were
sounds.
wrong
That's
about
why
Leo.
you
Shut
can't
up.
go
You were
with
wrong
that.
about Leo. Shut up.
Oh, I'm not saying that's I'm
Uh,
not saying that's a thing. I'm saying that's the only way you could have
were
explained that
wrong
joke
about
scene.
Leo. Shut up.
I think she's just gonna fucking wither away on the 4th day or the last day, and it's gonna be mildly sad, but like at the same time, it's just gonna be like,
What about this
yeah,
time travel subplot that we had like 7 episodes ago?
Yeah, so this hacker is like the hacker and the time travel thing's the only like the stuff that like has me interested because I would expect this to end with Hina dying, but they seem to have things set up to make it not that straightforward.
but
I
the
feel
hacker
like.
is following the Gramps, right?
Well, now he has the photo. He knows Hina exists, so he could be tracking Hina. Like, because he got to her father.
That's why he ended up at the father's place.
It
'cause
makes
he's
sense
tracking
that
Hina.
he's probably going to wind up at Yoda's next episode.
If she doesn't end up dying, this show is horseshit, dude. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so tilted.
If it makes that far.
Oh no, I'm gonna finish it, but like I'm not gonna be happy about it.
I don't know. I was thoroughly excited because like I've been enjoying the last episodes. I was excited for them to finish the movie, excited to possibly see the movie, and then just waste another day having fun. And then I was just a lot of talking, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And I was like, holy shit, is she actually dead? And then that got shut down immediately after. I was like, oh, okay. And then just more talking. I was like, yeah, things are kind of connecting.
Yeah.
She's probably gonna die.
But like, I feel like you need this episode. Like, I
I
feel
feel like
like
this show's
Yoda
at its
needs
worst
this.
every time it tries to be serious,
know.
though.
Like,
I don't know.
that's just my thing on it. Like, I feel like the show is bad whenever it's trying to be serious.
Like what
Which
is
is
Yoda
unfortunate.
gonna what is Yoda gonna do fucking noticing that she's gonna fucking die, right? He hasn't done anything in the last fucking 20 days other than just stay with her. So like now that he kind of knows with hints, subtle hints that something bad is gonna happen, was he gonna become superhuman and just fucking
What do you mean subtle hints? He's known for 30 days something bad's gonna happen.
yeah?
But he hasn't believed
Now
it.
he knows that it's probably to her.
He's known stuff's gonna happen for the last 30 days.
His mind
He's been
was
believing her
that
for the
the
last 3
entire
weeks.
world was gonna fucking explode. Right?
And for
Not
him, he was
much
just
you
kind
can
of
do
going
about that.
through the motions, going, "Oh, whatever." There's nothing he could do about the world ending, so he's gonna live out his best life,
Where he can
removing
save
all
this one
inhibitions and
girl.
doing things. But
I
he
don't know.
thinks if it's just like for her, there might be something he can do there.
It's just gonna baby her, and then he's gonna look at his little pocket watch. He's gonna look down. The time's gonna ticking. It's like that SpongeBob episode where they're sitting between the wall
Oh no!
in the pumpkin. They ate
With
the
the
bomb
pies.
pie, and Squidward is just counting down the time. 10, 9,
These aren't
9.
pies. These
8,
are bombs.
7,
Alright, fine.
6,
What?
so on, and she's just gonna wither away.
Hey Hina. Psst. I am inevitable.
If the show pulls an Angel Beats, I'm going to die.
I mean, it's not gonna do.
It might literally do
Exactly.
what Angel Beats does. Kind
Um,
of.
Don't you dare compare these shows.
I mean,
They're by the same
I
people.
think it's very.
That's great. One of them is good.
Yeah, it's this one. God.
Don't do
You
that to
can't
me.
say that without laughing. You can't even say without laughing. Like, you're so upset.
So here's the thing. I don't think they're gonna make this cut and dry. I think they're going to do something that subverts expectations. So if we're thinking that realistically she should just die, like and that would be the best ending, but they're probably not gonna do that. They're probably gonna have Yoda try to save her. There's a good chance the show is just going to let her die, because that's the thing that is expected, but not. But like we're like, well, we want them to do it, but there's no way they do it. Uh, I think this show still has punches to pull, in my personal opinion, and I really like this episode because I think it was needed for Yoda to understand the situation, and for the viewers who didn't figure it out by now to have it spelled out for them, because it's important to understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sold on it.
That you haven't been sold on it.
You're correct. But
This
like, I
show's
was like,
this show's been
I was
back
like, you
and
know
forth
what? If
with
this
me,
episode's
though.
interesting, maybe I'll go back and watch it and give it another chance, and then come back with a fresh mind. No, I still don't like it.
The
This show-
last 3 to 4 weeks, I've been like, yeah, this show's pretty good. I'm enjoying just like experiencing just like this journey of just randomly doing shit throughout the days while the time's ticking down. And now it's only 4 fucking days left, and it's like, huh, interesting type deal. I don't know.
it
Dylan,
feels
I
like
kind of just lost interest.
Yes.
this.
what do you think? It's your show.
I feel like the next episode's going to be good because I feel like the after credits scene was like the shit about to go down kind of thing. That being said, I I'm the opposite. I like when the show gets serious because I feel like there's an actual plot underneath all the bullshit it throws at us. While the bullshit's funny and fun to watch sometimes, um, I like shows with plots, unfortunately. So
Wild.
it's
Holy
crazy
shit.
to me that like when something's actually happening, I'm interested. That's my thoughts.
Any other final thoughts?
I really like this episode. I think it gave us a lot of background for like things with Hina. That yes, though we had an idea that there's something off with her. We finally, one, got confirmation of it, and two, we got more in-depth details about it. Like we know exactly what was wrong with her when she was one, that she had a genetic disease, like a thing from when she was
Mhm.
young that caused her to her body to basically destroy itself. So we know what's so weird about her existence here. The one thing we still don't know is one, what does she mean by became a god? How is she omniscient? And why the hell is the time limit not an entire year? I hate this.
We haven't
That's the
confirmed that
one
she's
thing that
actually
rubs me.
omniscient, but yeah.
The one thing
Well-
that annoys me about this episode is that there's like 4 days left, and she said she's been a god for like 340 something.
It was 335 days,
Yeah.
and then she had 30 days left.
No, but she said she said the 335 on the day of this episode.
I thought as I met you,
We have
before
to,
I met
we have
you,
to
it was-
check.
So I thought
I think
if
it's
it's
for
that
a year.
if it's
I think
if
you're
it's
right.
see it didn't it seemed like it was close to a year, but not the actual number, like 15 days off, and that pissed me off to no end. Not to a point where I like wrote the show off, but like just one of those annoying things where it's like, come
So-
on.
Okay, so her dad left at age 7, right?
Mm,
Yes.
Because this is when she was gonna die.
Yes.
How old is she at this point? Is she still technically 7?
No.
I sure
No.
hope
Okay, I had
not.
this conversation with the Wandering Witch. If you travel back in time 10 years, are you the same age you are now,
That's-
or back in the past?
It's not the
You-
same conversation, but we can discuss this.
It's basically, it depends on the theory you believe in.
It's because like the Lavender Witch was 19 when she traveled back in the past, but
So basically the theory that she believes in and the one she was describing is essentially like 19-year-old her and 10-year-old her exist in this same, or 9-year-old her exist in this same time period, right? But because of this sets that time period on a different, like a diverging timeline, right? Like it's like the parallel universes kind of theory where like
Yes.
time is like a diverging branching path, not one linear thing that constantly is changing. If you go back in time, it branches into a different path, but your existence of a timeline still exists in this separate like universe, if that makes sense. So like you going in and like killing Hitler just sets a different timeline where Hitler dies. It doesn't change the world where
No,
he
no, no,
lives.
I
in
get
So
our-
that,
that, yeah,
I
to
get that,
get
I
the
get
meat
that,
of your
I
point,
get that.
Dylan,
No, like I
she
But
is
totally
going,
19.
but going
there.
back in time would not affect you. It would
Yeah,
just affect
she
the
is
world.
still
She's
19 there.
Yeah,
legal.
you are
It's
still a
not gonna
19-year-old
switch.
going back in time.
How this relates to the day I became a god is that it doesn't, because we have no proof there is time travel that has happened. So this
Yeah.
is not a
Yes.
conversation we need to have.
Okay,
I don't know if we have an exact timetable of how many years it's been since
because
her
she could have had a year left at age 7, right?
I feel like it has to
which-
be a while because the dad has kids.
Yeah. So unless the Gramps made time travel within that last like couple months of period, right? Of her being fucked up, right? Time traveled to the future. I'm just fucking spitballing. But she still only has this 1 year left. That would kind of line up, but at the same time, it's not a full year.
I think
I don't
it's
think.
more if he gave her like he did studies on her, brought her body back to a non-deteriorated rate because he looked at like cellular research, and then she now had doing so amplified her in some way to be omniscient, however we want to look at that, and now she's on her body's going to deteriorate because the research isn't complete, right? Like she only has as much time as the research bought.
What?
Don't worry about it.
What research? What are you talking about?
She's turning to
When-
ash in 4 days. Let's
when
just
the
put it that way.
When the hackers investigated the grandfather, he was doing research along with medical, like the hospital, and they were doing like cellular research.
For a year?
We don't know how long they were doing it for. But my point is that her disease had to get fixed somehow, right? Her condition had to be reversed based on how the father was talking. Because, like, there's no way she should look the way she does unless the grandfather found a way to reverse it. And I imagine that was done at a cellular level, based on the information we were given.
So what? Is she gonna turn into the fucking?
I think
Oh.
she's just gonna disintegrate.
She's not going to disintegrate.
I think she's gonna
It's not-
disintegrate.
When cells die, they do not disintegrate. I hope you
Yeah,
realize.
you also just don't suddenly
decompose.
recover from Tommy John's syndrome, Pablo.
Okay, I don't
Or-
see why
Okay,
you're
how about
bragging.
this
Lou Gehrig's
plotline? How
disease,
about
sorry,
this
Lou Gehrig's
plotline?
disease is the one I'm thinking of.
A whole bunch of nanobots just crawl out of her skin, and we get a Terminator
Sake.
situation.
Okay, I
So-
want you to never talk again.
So
please.
Jackman,
Skynet.
Jackman,
Yeah.
talk to me about Iwakakaru.
Hey, all right.
Okay, let's move
So
on.
I think there's a little time skip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, 6
quite-
months.
Quite a big time skip. She
Good.
throughout from the last episode, we leave off at the finals, and that she failed, of course, and that they were going to do a little training throughout the period of time. And her training was just repetitively doing competitions to learn more about the sport. And throughout these 6 months, she competed in many, and she earned the title of Murder Observation as her power. As she progressed, climbing better and better, we then get the intro, and we get a little talk with the team, and we get introduced into the really good red haired twin tail bitch, who's really obnoxious, and we have a little challenge with them talking, and she's talking to our main group of girls, and they're just getting it off all nice, and then she gets challenged, and the challenge is to climb. You have 1 minute to observe, and you have to climb to the top as fast and ring a buzzer. And Konomi, right? Possibly Konami.
Gorjo.
She Gorjo.
Stop
Pobble,
it.
I will hurt you.
She analyzes it, and within a minute she doesn't fully analyze the problem, and she climbs and climbs, and she gets to the last part, and you see a little Kusuru-chan, or whatever the fuck her name is, standing above her, mocking her, cheering her on, and she eventually climbs it, and she's there just like sitting there exhausted, and Twin Tail Girl is like egging her on and cheering, making the crowd cheer for her. And then we get a 4-minute shower scene.
It's a
Where
long shower.
it's a long shower scene.
I don't see the problem.
And Twin Tail Girl is just a straight up
Uh-huh.
You can say it.
is just bad. Let's just
Oh,
put it
yeah.
that way.
She's a straight up baddie. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, she bad, alright.
Straight up bitch. And just makes Konami just feel really bad about herself, and about her team, and she says that, oh, you have no chance of winning the competition because I'm entering it. I'm the reason why people drop out every year. And Konami is just like, yeah, we can win as teams and friendship. And then they leave the shower, and the girls are talking about what to do next, and that she's going to be joining up the competition. And they talk about the competition, more training, and then we get June flashbacks. We get June. She comes into play again. They're like, yeah, we already have a really good speed teacher, and her name is June. And Konomi sees June in the halls, but June just walks away, and we found out that June is working at a rock climbing place. And we get the little cat girl and June have a little conversation, and they go to teach rock climbing to a whole bunch of group of kids. And June's trying to professionally teach kids how to rock climb, and the kids are just fucking dumb as a rock and don't know what she's saying until Cat Chan comes up and just speaks to a level of just children, and everyone's just like, yeah, that's how you do it. And she makes it more of like a game for the children to understand, and she shows a tier graph of all the different levels of challenges, and she asks the kids to pick a rock for them to climb, and she chooses one of the girls, and she chooses the hardest at the gym, which is the purple. And the cat girl makes June attempt to climb it. She grabs the first hold and just fails. She physically cannot climb it. And June walks off, and we get a little scene where cat girl chases after June, and then stalks June and Konomi because they're having a little chat. and the chat's awkward and nothing happens. They both walk away. June looks frustrated and whatnot until Catgirl and June walk up and challenges June to climb again. And Catgirl eventually gets halfway to it, almost to the goal. And then June has a little monologue idea of just how she wants to challenge it. She gets back to the first hold and just can't move until Catgirl screams and cheers her on. And then June has flashbacks of how she used to climb and climbed and climbed, and she got to the goal, and she was happy. And that was the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That do
Alright.
sound right.
I hate this fucking show. I hate this show. I'll fucking say it, bro. Like, I feel like the plot of this show that it set up, I think a fucking fourth grader could have set this up better. It's like, oh wow, shocker. The chick who only says cool Kurisu all fucking episode is bad? Like, oh wow.
Yeah, but that hate, you felt that hate though for the
Oh, I
character,
felt that fucking hatred, bro.
and that just speaks for a show.
Yeah.
If we're going by that, then Dan Became a God's the greatest show on the planet because of the immense hatred Dodge feels every time he has to talk about it.
I don't think June fixed her fucking problem, and if it did, that was a bullshit way to fix her problem. I think that cat chick is a non-existent character and should stay that way. Because
She's
she
not
had her
going to be.
she had her fucking shtick 7 episodes ago. But I just don't think this show is going to end well. I don't like the show.
Well, we know how it ends.
Do we?
Yeah, from the very first
Do-
episode.
Are we gonna get there?
I hope so.
Wait, I mean, if we're doing 6-month time skips, honestly, they might just
Fair.
skip to
The
they might just
finals.
skip.
They're gonna skip to mid-Olympics, I guess. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, woo!
Oh look, we're in the Olympics now.
This is just where we fucking are, I guess. Yeah, like what? They could have made any better plot line other than, oh, I'm gonna expose my hatred for you while we're both butt naked. It's like, come on.
Dude, the way where she just walked into her stall.
And they just fucking stood there, just staring at each
Like,
other.
Oh my
lock your
God.
fucking stalls if you're showering, by the way. Like, please.
Like the balls.
They showed almost as much skin as Tony Kawa did in fucking Nasa's shower episode this week.
I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this fucking show?
This episode is hard for me to rate because I wanted an episode, at least something this episode of Konami training. And we just got, haha, 6-month time skip. And we just kind of go, yeah, she's gotten better. She's now famous. I don't know. But like, it doesn't go against it to do the time skip. I just wanted something different. I think the June stuff was the only way they could have dealt with the June thing, because they set up this character as like the foil for June, with the cat characters like her rival. And it's like, oh, the rival needs to get past their differences and be like, yeah, June, you're a better climber. What the fuck's wrong with you? And June finally breaks out of her slump. I think that part was really good. I think the June stuff was actually handled well. I think the Konami stuff was fine. Eh.
By the way, next episode's called Restart. So
Oh no.
just keep that in mind. It's a restart of the gaming term, you know?
I imagine
You click
next,
the restart button.
I imagine next week's episode's gonna be June teaching them how to climb fast, because that's a thing
Yeah.
they need to do, and them getting into the tournament, because they don't have that many episodes to not do that. Well, Jackman, Dodge, what did you guys think? One of you.
I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was needed. I felt like the time skip was needed. Even though she still failed to succeed. Which just proves that she needs more practice along the way. and for the two stories of June needing to teach the team how to climb faster, but June having her own problems being sorted out at the same time, I felt like it was a good tie to together.
The show has enough pacing issues as it is. It's just trying to hang on right now, and I respect that.
I think this is Iwakakuru's best episode because of the way Iwakakuru shaped its show. I think in how it's approached its characters and how much it shows of the climbing, this episode fits perfectly and does everything it needs to right. It doesn't waste time on a bunch of extraneous climbing that really would probably serve no purpose that was there in that time skip. It builds up the antagonist it's set at the beginning but hasn't implemented yet, which it desperately needs to do. It gives Konami something she has to still improve on, which is the speed of her climbing, which then gives June a reason to have to come back. And they at least use an established relation between two characters to get June back. And while I think this episode is probably the best the show's had, I think it is riddled with all the problems the show has in my mind, which are that I don't think it has enough time to do everything it's trying to do. And I think June's problem as a whole seems so mishmashed between she's inferior to Konami to she can't climb to like there feels like there's it feels like they haven't identified the singular problem of June has, but they're solving the problem anyway because they have to get the show back on track. It's also really weird to me that you have a 6-month time skip and that the only person who we've seen any character change or growth from really is Konami in terms of her ability, and even then, not really. Whereas we didn't hear anything about the other two members of the team, and June apparently just worked a part-time job for 6 months and sulked the whole time, not trying to solve it on her own, which doesn't seem like her character. I think the show does everything right it could with what it has. I just think the show is paced to fail by the end of the season, and I'm not a fan of probably what's gonna have to keep coming from it.
Okay, I got a question. I just realized.
Uh-huh.
How did June get a job at a rock climbing place if she can't climb?
She's
Because
been there
she's
for like years and years and years.
and like
But like,
she's
she's
also
currently literally unable to climb.
well,
It's
apparently
the same gym.
she hasn't had to climb until now. Apparently, it wasn't
Yeah.
an
But
issue.
somehow
They
she
didn't
went
test
6
it.
months doing zero climbing.
We don't know when
at a climbing
exactly she
gym.
started working at the gym. It could have been literally 2 hours before she started, and we saw her. We don't know.
No, but I mean, she had seniority. So yeah, I mean, it could be seniority.
She could
for,
have
like, a
seniority
week.
by
So-
like a day.
So I'm pretty sure it's the same gym that she always used to go to.
Yeah.
Which helped her probably get the job because she knows what she's doing. Even if she isn't a climber technically at the time, it is more of a teacher role that she was fulfilling. I don't think she was expected to climb immediately after talking to the class, right? Which I think is what that point was making.
Do you have other thoughts on Iwakaku?
No.
I mean, the show is what we expect it to be. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not really surprised or disappointed.
We
by
saw
anything in the show.
Etch.
It's just kind of gonna happen.
It's just like the most etchy the show has
Dang.
done.
Was
Yeah.
it?
Actually saw
Yeah,
Edge this episode.
Probably.
Okay,
Yeah, that sounds right.
Jackman.
I'm
Dylan,
not ready.
Dylan?
No, I just go ahead. I thought I heard something, but I think I just misheard.
Okay.
Please continue.
I'm very curious, but
speak.
No,
okay.
go.
Okay, okay.
Jackman, it is your time. Oh, that's not the right
All
photo.
right.
Weird. Give me a second. I'll fix
What
that
the
while you.
hell?
I'll fix that while you.
Oh, that is a mismatch and a half.
Weird. How did that?
It's a photo of Sean at the Christmas party.
Oh no, Sean, what'd you do?
Ah, don't worry. I'll fix it. You start talking about
Okay.
this while I.
All
About
right.
that shit
Jujutsu
show.
Kaisen.
Oh, that show. Okay, good.
The rough gym that is getting refined and refined with each episode. We left off episode 8 with a murder scene at a movie theater, and we see 3 students just get completely changed and murdered. we immediately get jumped into a story of Yoshino, which is a kid who's basically getting bullied, and it's a pretty intense bully scene, where we immediately get thrown into the movie scene where he goes to buy a ticket at the movie, and we see the blue haired figure walk past him. He sits down, and the movie, I'm pretty sure, is a ripoff of Human Centipede. I could be wrong. Um, Essentially, he's just trying to watch this movie while the three jocks that had just bullied him previously are just watching this movie, just shit talking and talking about how he that she almost wanted to fuck him basically, and that she calls him during the movie theater, and essentially the blue haired dude walks up to them, talks to them, and then just does something to them. At the end of the movie, he walks up to the guys, and he finds out that they turned into these fucking creatures and were murdered. So he runs off, and runs into the alleyway to talk with this blue haired dude, and is actually very interested in how he did it. Um, he gets like really angry and all that. And we get a really good intro, and we then jump to the aftermath of the scene where the police tape is out, and the two investigators are really angry that just this random kid and this old dude, just, or not old dude, but this dude walked into the scene, and they had like seniority of the police department. And we find out that Itadori now learns this new technique of following, like trace stepping, this like source of curse energy, and they walk out following this curse, slowly getting trained. We find out that Gorjo.
Oh my god. You're doing it on
kill
purpose.
you.
You're doing it on fucking purpose.
You literally paused.
Gojo.
Yeah, he paused just to see our reactions. He
You
knows.
literally paused.
Gojo introduced this like fucking money loan shark dude. I don't fucking know his name. But they know each other, and
My boy Nanami.
yeah, and essentially wants him to teach Itadori some things, some ropes around the book, and we get a decent amount of comedy sketches throughout this scene, and we get some more training, and Itadori and yellow-haired dude walk up following these tracks where they suddenly sense a presence, and we get two creatures walk out. One that is talking about like fucking detergent, and I forget what the other one was talking about.
Lunchbox.
Lunchboxes. Yes, the creepy crawling one just constantly just talks about a lunchbox, and
feel that.
the white fucking demon thing, mouth thing, it talks about detergent, and we get a little fight scene, and it's a pretty good fight scene. We learn that the yellowed haired loan shark dude, he's
Nanami.
his power his power is able to identify the weak points of the curses, and is able to like essentially cut them in half. And we find out that he's not even using the sharp end of his blade, he's just using his cursed power around the blunt edge of the blade to slice the legs off of this thing. And Itadori gets distracted and gets fucking punched. We get a little flashback of Gojo training him, and he has fucking sunglasses on, and his hair is down, and is just in casual wear. And we see Itadori get his first punch. His cursed energy is fully, his weapon is just glowing around his hands, and we learn that it's a special type of punch because Itadori's cursed power is delayed. So his first initial hit, and then it hits again with the cursed energy, leaving like two fucking holes essentially in the same hole. And I forget what it's fucking called, but it's a really cool name.
I think it's called a Rasengan.
Isn't it called the Jajanken? I don't know.
Let's see here, but it's fucking badass. That's all I know.
Not a fucking clue.
Divergent Fist. That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what he called it.
And we get a little scene where the creature's just fucking just just in mass pain. Where the yellow loan shark dude is just thinking, holy shit, if he reaches 120% of his average sorcerer power, he could be really strong. They then find out that there's something wrong with these things, and they're actually humans technically. And we get a scene with a doctor, and over the phone while they're sitting inside, Itadori's looking really sad and depressed. The doctor cheers him up a little bit, saying that they're already dead because of the shock. Um, and then Itadori gets really, his character kind of builds up and is angry towards whatever did this because they didn't get to choose how they died, essentially, and that's how his grandfather told him what the best way to die is. Um, and we get a little scene where they are now tracking down the fucking goth haired dude and Mr. Stitch over here. And apparently they're in the sewers and they're talking, and he essentially tells them about all the curses and how to become one, I guess. And Itadori and the they're trying to track him down. They get a lead and some more comedy bits. And Itadori tells the sensei to be safe on his journey. Um, and they're after that scene, they get in a car and they travel to where they think that he is, and they find him. They start trailing him, and Itadori has this weird fucking cage thing with two beasts. Um, and then it cuts away, and the end credit scene is we see Gojo and fucking the loan shark dude just trying to get him to teach Itadori. And the very end scene, he puts a little letter in his pocket, and he opens it up, and it's a fucking penis.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's
really
fucking
good.
hilarious. That's my
pretty funny.
shitty rendition of this episode.
Well, that pretty much covered everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I think again, like this week was just kind of it was this week. Kind of what you
Another
expected.
good fight scene.
Yeah.
We learned that Itadori's power is fucking really cool,
Pretty broken.
pretty broken. And it's only just a simple punch because that's all he can do right now.
But it takes time to
Um,
start up.
It does. It takes I think like a couple seconds or 60 seconds,
Well,
a minute
the
to
idea is,
start,
yeah,
something like
it
that.
took him from the start of that fight until he used it for it to start up.
Yeah.
About a minute or so.
Yeah, which could be really bad when fighting some of these higher level curses. But
It's
yeah,
fine. He'll probably be fine.
What's the
this
name
man
of
has the durability to literally have his heart ripped out. He's fine.
What's the name of the new character?
Nanami.
What a good man. Really,
He's
Kento
really.
Nanami.
he's Saikaido's voice actor. Sorry.
Oh, that explains everything.
I
No,
love
he
this
he is wonderful, and I love the stylistic. This feels more like Korean manhwa than like any
Yes.
other bullshit. And it's just a flat
it
shonen
does.
manga. Like
Yeah, it
the
feels more
idea of
manhwa than
like the
Noblesse did.
yeah, like the lineup of the critical hits, I think is just such a neat and like interesting thing that they do here. I really like this week's episode. I'm very interested in the plot line going on with this turning humans into curses. And it seems like we're setting up this new like just average run of the mill high schooler to be uh like to probably be like infiltrate the jujutsu sorcerers, I would imagine. But I also they know who he is, so I feel like that can't happen. I'm interested to see what they do with him.
Yeah. He is the person in the opening, but he is
I-
not the person who is the really good sorcerer.
There's just two of them that look alike. What the fuck? Maybe, who knows?
They have different names, so I don't know.
I think one of my favorite things about this show is just how they just randomly change the art styles to
Yeah.
just like a really serious situation to just a fucking like JoJo reference type art style. and and just like the small miniature drawings of just the characters in the background, I find it's just really funny. Also just like the character expressions of Itadori this episode, I felt were like really well done, of just like all this just information that he's learning and absorbing for the first time, and like experiencing this brand new world that he's been thrown into. And just like the realization of that these things were human, and just like the sad look that he had during that episode, during that scene. I felt like just like everything that was done in this episode was really well done, and is a really good tradition that the show has had so far.
I like how the supporting cast gets it too, right?
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
had the doctor who understands that this kid was just, a kid, like
Kid was
a
literally
couple months ago.
dead like an episode ago.
And so like and he's very very empathetic, right? That's like Yuji's character. He's very very much like I just want to protect people and that's my entire goal and that's why he's here. And I think that's really good for him as a character, but it's also like very good of other characters to understand that about him, right? And when you see characters understanding other characters, that shows like the depth that the show has. But like I said, this episode just kind of straightforward. I don't think it was bad at all, but like I mean, it didn't do anything. It didn't blow me out of the water, which is the first time that's done that this season. So it's like it's almost like a bit of a disappointment, but it's still okay.
That's
Yeah.
what next week's episode's for.
That was my thing. Like, I thought this episode was good,
Man.
but it wasn't like
Do we think-
amazing,
do we think
crazy
this-
bullshit.
Do we think the show's gonna pull a Tokyo Ghoul where it like introduces a new character and then kills him like an episode later?
That'd be
I
wild.
don't think so.
I
think
hope it doesn't because I like this guy, but like at the same time, like
I think
He's cool.
it's
he might be
building
dead.
up to a much larger event. I think something's gonna happen at the fucking festival, of course, because one, Itadori's will be reintroduced, because there's not that many people that know that he's alive. I think it's only like 3 or 4 people that still know that Itadori's alive. So something crazy is gonna fucking happen soon.
I think it's 4 people now because
And-
you have Gojo, you have the new guy, you have the doctor, and then
assistant.
you have the assistant.
Yeah.
Which by the way, nice like subtle thing where they're
I
like,
appreciate
hey,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like why are you the only guy I see? Because I'm the only one that knows you're alive. Ah, fair enough. It's like, aha, suck it, conspiracy theorists. The show's not just lazy; it also covered its tracks.
Yeah. This definitely seems like I have to look into who's written this and if they've done anything else, because the author for this is very good. In terms of like doing stuff like that and making just fun little jokes throughout the show.
Let's also not forget there's only been 3 or 4 fingers
Yeah.
introduced.
This show's gonna go for a while. It's
Yeah.
definitely not gonna end on its 24. This show's gonna be here for. I mean,
Fuck no.
I imagine it's still a running shonen. So
Unless it pulls the world will end in 30 days, and then 15 days and 2 episodes.
But like I just now realized that shit. He only has he's consumed 4 fingers or 3. 4? I think it's 4.
I think it's only 3.
Is that 3?
Because it's the first one, the one Gojo gives him, and then the one he gets from the special
he's
grade union.
consumed less than 5.
Yeah.
It's not even like a quarter of the way there. Like,
Yeah.
what if next
Although-
episode he just eats like 7?
7 in a row. It's like,
Extra hungry.
what's your thoughts, Pablo?
I like this show. I think it was a setup episode.
Yeah.
But I didn't think we
Yeah, no, for sure.
expected a setup episode.
Mm-mm.
Which is the only reason I was like, eh. But I mean, I'll take a week off from this show not blowing my brains out to next week it blowing twice my brains out. I don't think this is a show that like has one meh episode and you're like, ah, fuck this show. Fuck, I hate it. But yeah, I mean, like we lost a bit of the hype. I think the fight scene where the fucking first grade sorcerer was showing off his fucking cleaver shit, like the fucking cool ass patterns on it, like the cheetah, but like it's like white and black. I like
Zebra.
that. And he fucking cut the thing without even unwrapping the blade. I thought that was so cool. I was like, oh shit, okay.
And with the blunt side of it too.
I like how he caught that it was a human because they still had a watch on. I was like, holy shit. That was cool. Like a cool development that they added there. Like it wasn't obvious. Like it was like something that like you actually had to like look at. That villain is fucking scary because he turns people into curses.
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be cool.
Also, that speech he gives about curses is just just like the concept of them, of just fear being not just like spooky superstitions, like
Yeah, and
the
like
whole people fear the earth, the
people,
fire,
it's like
like
fire, plants, and then there was one other that we didn't know. Like we haven't seen that one yet, I think.
well, there were 4 people. There were 4 of them when they went to that diner.
I can't remember what the
Because
one
he had
looked like.
3 extra people with him. Was the thing
I
about
know
it?
it's Hanami, the volcano dude. I can't remember what the other person looked like. But I guess those 3, and then but that guy is the curse of like human hatred.
Hmm.
It's like
What a perfect
that's
antagonist
crazy.
for Itadori.
That's
So
crazy.
one's probably it's probably just water, earth,
Yeah.
fire. Yeah. And then life, right? Technically. For the other dude who can create shit, I
But
would assume.
yeah, the odd thing is like the fire also kind of could also be earth, like because like he could just be like the mountains and like volcano. Like they might not
Yeah,
be
that's
embodiment
true.
of elements as much as embodiments of like the environment. So like he is the mountains, the other is the woods. So the one has to be the sea. There could be a sky, like that kind of thing. But who knows? Michael, you want to share the fun fact you told me about this show's opening?
Oh yeah, at by at least this episode, they changed the part in the opening where Gojo goes to pull up his bandana and he actually pulls it up and shows the eye.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
checked.
Also,
It's
I never
fake.
watched that.
something I just learned while looking up who the mangaka was for this. There was a 4-volume manga that was released before this that gives a small amount of background on the second years
Oh,
and
Oh.
the important character that we haven't met yet, Okotsu.
oh, okay. Neat.
Yeah. Called Tokyo Metropolitan Magic Technical School.
God,
Oh, it's the
fucking
other
tech
school, isn't it?
schools. Fucking tech schools.
God, I wish I could afford private school and learn how to use curse power.
Also,
Ah.
I
Sweet.
forgot to mention, it does a really good job of describing things.
Yeah.
It described how Itadori's power actually works, with like a little like rough cartoon-esque drawing, um,
Mhm.
where it shows him punching a wall, the first impact, and then the power behind it then follows. It just like everything that it if new powers are brought up or like power scales, everything is just told well, I feel.
Also, what a great way to have them tell us by saying, if you say how your powers work, they're just stronger because you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
acknowledging them. What a great! I love it. What it's so
Yeah,
nice for
I
the
love
viewer.
the
or
excuse
playing
the
your
show
hand or
makes for
whatever.
itself. It's so good.
It's so, but like it's also so good to give a grounded reason why you're giving exposition, because having the exposition, like as much as everyone's like, exposition, I don't care. It's really important to understand how shit works, especially in like decently high magic or semi magic like fantasies. Understanding how
Explain
these
how your
powers
worlds
are
work so
nice.
we can
Yes,
understand
please
why
just
they
do.
work. It's very nice. Very nice of the show.
Also, when the
Bueno.
the ink letters fall in when he says the fucking power move, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh yeah, the aesthetics on the show is so nice.
We finally gotten to the point where we can just gush over Jujutsu Kaisen for 25 minutes.
True. I mean, we've been at that point the entire season. It's just we're usually
Dude,
left speechless.
there's so many screenshots that are just good in the show.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
It's a good show.
I really like when Gojo just acts like a fucking derp.
I appreciate the shot of
Penis.
Gojo in casual clothes, just
Oh,
wearing
yes.
glasses.
Dude, he got
chilling.
them clavicles though.
Yeah, he got them necklines.
Dude.
Mm.
What I tell you
If the
about
man wasn't
neckline?
hot yesterday, holy
This man
shit.
looking tasty over here. Like,
Okay, I think at this point we should move on. I don't know if you guys want to
Like, I'm about to fucking dye my
mean-
hair white.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we
man
good to
making me
move
feel
on?
things. Like, I don't know. Like, are we okay?
Are we good?
Yeah, I think we're
Next cosplay I'm playing as Gorjo.
good. Gorgeous.
I will hate.
He's just Gojo but big.
He's
Yeah.
going to be
Gojo, but
Gojo.
covered
He's
in
going
blood.
to have like
Just
one of those "My
covered in
name is"
blood.
tags that says Gorjo on it.
My name is Gojo.
My name is
let's-
Gordo.
Hi, my name is Gorjo.
Let's talk about Taiso. this week. This episode we start with Ray getting an email from Kitty, the female gymnast we met last episode. She expresses that she's gonna come to Japan in the summer after her competition, where she plans to win a gold medal. And Ray's like, "Hey, Dad, can she stay?" And Joe's like, "Sure, sure. I don't even know if she's who I think she. Sure, she can stay." And we go then to Joe doing his practice. We see that him and his coach have talked about doing four flips before, and that they've established there's no way to do it in the maneuver during a routine. It's not possible. So to do four flips, he has to do it as a dismount. But they also express that it's very difficult, and you know it's difficult because even the top gymnasts in China aren't trying it. So this is something that will probably really benefit Joe if he actually manages to do it. And as he tries to do it, he just can't seem to get his form to be right to do the fourth flip. And they're like, okay, we're gonna call it today. Let's go watch some videos. And Leo's like, hey, I'll come with you. Can I come with you? And they're like, sure, Leo. And they watch the video, and he's like, Joe, what if you be a pinwheel? And they look at him like he's insane. He's like, trust me, a pinwheel. And then we move on, and we see Joe catches Leo doing a dance routine, and he tells him, hey, if no one's using this area, feel free to do this. Neat. Glad you're doing it. And then Kitty gets here. After a small training montage, Kitty arrives, takes Ray on a shopping trip, tells her as they're trying on clothes, she has to, embrace herself a little more, have some fun, try try to imagine herself, as a different person, get more into who she is, and enjoy that fact. And they then go around the city, have a good time. We get a scene where the boy who was bullying her earlier in a couple episodes walks by, is like, whoa, look at that girl, it's Ray, wow. And his mom's like, oh, do you like her? He's like, no, baka, and runs away. And she's like, wow, you're terrible at women, child, get better. And then we see Leo again express to Joe, there's a way to get these four flips right. Trust me. You just gotta be a pinwheel. You gotta have fun with the squeeze and the pop,
And the
uh,
whoosh and whoa.
and the whoosh and the whoa. And I feel like I'm watching a Haikyuu episode with the way they talk through this scene. Um, they get home, and Kitty and Ray are there. They eat dinner, and then as they're doing dishes, Kitty recognizes Leo as Leonardo Sturgis. Uh, he is known as the Pride of the Royal and is a famous ballet dancer. Uh, and then after being found out, no one really questions it, and Leo runs off and does his own ninja thing. And then Ray looks it up and is like, "Wow, you weren't kidding. He's actually like famous." And then Ray and Kitty talk about, their dreams, their passions. About Kitty's like, look, you can't just want your dad to be good at gymnastics and support him the whole time. You have to want to do something yourself. And she's like, well, I like to pretend to be an actor. And she's like, that's kind of just acting, isn't it? And she's like, I guess, yeah. And then Kitty leaves, and Ray's like, hey, I'm gonna be an actress. And Kitty's like, good. And then Kitty leaves. Uh, and and then we get our after credit scene, and it's Joe doing some flips, and he almost sticks the landing, and he's like, "Oh, I almost have it," and that's
shit.
the episode. Um, I'm gonna start. I don't really think we needed the Ray and Kitty stuff this episode. Uh, it's nice. It works for the stuff they're doing with Ray. I absolutely feel like you could have not introduced Kitty last episode, and she didn't have to exist this episode, and we could have focused on Leo and Joe. Uh, and we could have spent some more time with figuring out this quad on the dismount. I think it would have been more interesting of an episode. Uh, and on top of that, I do feel like Kitty is just really here to be like, hey, I know famous things. Look, this guy does ballet and is this person in Europe. Cool. We had other ways we could have learned that. I don't think this is a bad episode for Taiso, but I definitely don't think it's a strong episode for Taiso.
See, I'll disagree a little bit with you there. I think this episode is very good because it's a way to pass time without being the exact same as how it's passed time before, right? In every single shonen, or every single sports anime, how do you pass time? Training montage, right? It's training montage, training montage, training montage. He's working through, like, I like that they're like, okay, you guys have seen enough of Joe doing like his gymnastics and passing time this way. We're gonna show Ray and like her discovery of like this is what I want to do with my life kind of thing. And I like that. I like that it's different. Also, you know me, I'm a Ray fanatic. Only best character in the show by far. Um, but um, yeah, I think it's a good way to show time passing without it just being about Joe all the time, always. Because it does, pass through the summer. It passes the months, and you see Joe is making progress on it and starting to figure things out. Um, I do agree, like the Kitty and Ray thing feels kind of forced, but I think it's a good synergy. I think they work well together. They're cute together. Every other show has me feeling like Kitty was going to be like this sinister, like she just has her own things in mind
I
character, but
was gonna say that
really,
too.
really she's just like a nice person, and it's like that's nice to see for once instead of just
Mhm.
everyone trying to backstab everyone or get an advantage or something. Like it's nice to see it just a genuine like I just want to be a good person and be friends with you because I liked your mom's acting, right? Even if there's like a 6-year age gap between the two. Um, but but she helps Ray discover her goals in life, and she doesn't just have to be a sideline anymore. She can go start pursuing her own dreams. I think that's good for characters.
I do.
Now,
Oh, go ahead, Dodge.
yeah, sorry. The last point I was just making is like I think the show does best when it's not just focusing on Joe.
I I do like I do still like the stuff with Kitty, and like and what it does for Ray. I think what it does is still good. I still enjoy Taiso a lot. I personally just think, for me, I feel like we actually haven't really gotten a lot of Joe doing gymnastics lately.
Good.
So what I argue personally, I would like to see a little more of it. So I think we could have maybe gauged the time spent in places this episode and given a little more at Joe, but hopefully we're gonna get more of that as the show ends out.
Okay. No, I would normally agree with you, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
However, I actually like this episode of Taiso because I feel like
Oh,
exactly what Dodge said though, it was different, but it wasn't like
Different.
cliche.
different with the
Yeah.
purpose.
Yes.
Oh
I
man.
actually liked how they changed it up because I mean, they had like another training arc. They're like, just have the fucking China thing. Like, I don't need him training
That's
like
true.
every episode. Like, what I want next is another competition.
Hmm.
Um, so I like how they didn't go training into training. They're doing training into a little more development on the characters, especially Leo's backstory, because I want to know more about him. The only thing I didn't like about this episode, it seems like Kitty fell out of place because she was a forced plot advancer. She
Mm-hmm.
forced the plot to go forward, and it was really obvious
Yeah.
by the end of it because she's just
Yeah.
like, "I bye," and it's like, "Wait a
Yeah.
minute, what was that? What was the point?" And you're like, "Oh, she was just making people admit their shit." Like it's all she did. So I
The
like
Joe thing felt really out of place.
all she did, like she fell out of place after the fact, but during it, it made sense because like, how the fuck do you do it? How the fuck? There's probably a better way to handle like advancing the plot in each character, but to do it all in one episode, you need a person to like
Just kind of force
straight
it.
up know everything and just be like,
Yep.
this is what you gotta do.
She
That
she
outside
is what the
force.
audience would. She's the fourth wall breaker, right? She's the fourth
Yeah.
wall character, where it's like we know all this stuff and all these facts, right? Because we've seen the characters interact outside of each other.
Hmm.
But how do you bring them together? And it's by introducing a character that also is like the audience, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yes.
where Joe is like, they don't know about Leo. She's like, oh, I would recognize this guy because he's a famous dancer, right? And that's something I'm interested in. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I kind of get it, right?
How
Is it,
worldly she is really helps to make it a little more
exactly.
natural than just, hey, she happens to know. Like engages with different types of art. So I like that works.
Is it perfect? No, but does it serve a purpose? Yes. I think it's a very important purpose to actually like, be like, okay, now they can start talking to Joe about or Leo about like why he's actually here. Why are you actually coming? Like actually starting getting into his business, which is something that like originally was set up as like the mom basically said like we don't do that here. You can do whatever you want. You can be a passing, pass with the wind kind of person. Um, and we're fine with that because that's just how we are as people. But now that might produce something in Ray to actually pursue, like, hey Joe, why are you here instead of dancing? And start actually talking about his life and what's going on. Oh, that was a really good episode. I like this episode.
Billy,
So
do you have?
I actually enjoyed this episode as well. Michael, if you want to go first, that also
Um,
works as well.
I mean, I, I basically the same thing. I thought this episode did what it was trying to do very well. Does it feel a tiny bit out of place? Yes, Kitty. Thinking back, Kitty wasn't like the greatest character, but like I think as I was watching it, there was no part where I was like, "This is a bad episode." I enjoyed it. It was adorable. Ray is adorable. This episode actually, for a bit when Kitty was there, I thought Kitty was going to stay for longer and be like a
A part of the
mini and
training.
not exactly that, like a mini antagonist towards Joe, where like she replaces Joe in Ray's life for a bit. Like the idea that she's doing the acting thing with Ray instead of Joe doing it.
Well, Leo does
I
it.
thought like or yeah, Leo, that's what I meant, yeah. With like she was going to replace Leo for a bit, and Leo was gonna need to have to break through that kind of
Oh, okay.
thing. But then she just left and I was like, oh darn, there goes my theory.
Okay, goodbye.
Oh, the episode was good. It did what it tried to do very well.
So, I like this episode for a couple reasons. One of them is it was actually a mini time skip if you think about it. Japanese summer school break is 40 days. And I'm pretty sure
Jackman
Kitty
with the lore.
stayed. Yeah. Kitty stayed from the very beginning to the end of I think Ray's summer break.
It was
So I'm
summer
pretty
break,
sure
yeah.
she technically stayed with him for like 40 days.
It was like 30,
Um,
40 days, I think they
it was
mentioned.
some yes,
Fun.
30 or 40 days. So while we only got snippets of it, I'm pretty sure this entire like episode was within like a month and a couple
Yeah.
days. Of just like we got some training, we got some shopping, we got just like exposition throughout the characters throughout the entire like month, and then more training. And but that was the main thing that I really enjoyed, because I was like, okay, it's actually a time skip a month closer to the competition throughout this entire training episode. I liked it. I thought bringing some closure to Ray was good and needed, because she just got her sad episode and then a couple low episodes of Joe, and then her character is now looking more bright and happy. She now has a reason to continue
good
with
point.
acting. Also, I don't know if y'all noticed, but the little boy, has had a fucking bandage on his head for the last like 4 or 5 months, maybe.
Who?
The
The
little
boy.
the boy that used to bully Ray.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
he always has a bandage on his head. I just thought that was interesting.
It's
I
a
don't know.
character trait.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
yeah.
scene where he was like, Aragaki privilege.
I liked it.
I
World
fucking
class,
love
baby.
Yeah, he was like-
He looks at her and goes,
"World-class."
"World
That was
class."
it. I was like, this guy gets it.
He was like, "Holy shit. The person I used to fucking bully is actually kind of hot."
He's looking at her like, damn! And his mom's like, why don't you go talk to your friends? They're cute. And he's like, I'm good. I'm good. She's like, bruh, you're like 12. Just go do it. It's fine. That was my favorite scene from the entire episode. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
it was good. I think it was not needed, but it was a good use of a time skip, I would say.
This show, I think, does that really well. I think this show's pacing with how much time it started you with to know, like, you're all the way here and we gotta get to the Summer Olympics. Like, they had to make a lot of moves to get here, and they've used a lot of their, like training arcs as fast time skips very well. Dylan, did you have anything else? Because I know we, like, transitioned from you to Dodge.
No, that's all I wanted to say. It was a good spot for me to say my opinion there. That's all I had. I thought it was pretty good.
Minimal
I'm
bird. Good
excited.
episode.
However, that was a good episode. I am fully ready for the next one to disappoint me.
Oh,
This
no.
show has the opposite effect of every other show where you're like, you're just ready for the episode to disappoint you, but it keeps being like, okay, that was good and wholesome. Oh, that was
That's
interesting.
actually very fair. That is exactly
Yeah,
correct.
you've said it for the past three weeks. You're like, I'm ready for it to give me the one thing I want, and then for me to be done with it.
Mhm.
I like Taiso a lot. I always have. Even like the small gripes I have with this episode were also partially because I'm trying to play devil's advocate with it. And for me, I personally would have been also fine with more gymnastics, but I'm also very
I think we
content
will
with what we
get to
get.
that
Oh, I know we will.
pretty soon, I feel like.
Good name,
It'll be-
Michael. Good name.
I'm ready for like 4 episodes of just
Thanks.
gymnastics.
I don't think you
Uh,
could tell it was me because no one else here would have said that.
do
And I
we
made a
have-
joke about it earlier.
Do we have any discussion points we have to have? Like, are there any? Like, I'm kind of locked in on the show that I think's the weakest this week.
I'm saying I'm fucking voting
Oh,
off you,
man.
Kakaru, bro.
I am as well.
Same.
I voted off fucking Day I Became a God.
I think next episode is 100% should be between Day I Became a God and Taiso. And I honestly, at this point, I think Taiso's winning. But I definitely think we could all agree that Iwakaku is the worst of the three.
Well,
yeah, for sure,
Dodge
this
does.
week Lukaku was the weakest,
Oh,
but
really? Dodge
It
just
was.
wants
I'm still
Dave.
voting off Day I Became a God because it is, but yeah, no, I'm definitely was not impressed with Iwakaku this week. It's not gonna change anything, but like,
Poor Tommy. He's gonna have to really watch Taiso at this rate.
Well, that's his own problem for not
he's had like
watching it.
he's got like 4 weeks already to at least watch an episode.
Well, now he can binge the whole thing. I don't know how that show's gonna be to binge. I
Alright,
imagine it
thoughts
might
on-
actually
thoughts
be
on-
pretty good.
Thoughts on Tommy skipping out because he hasn't watched Taiso and just didn't want to deal with it?
I mean,
He's
let's,
literally working.
he works. He works.
Like,
Put respect on the man's
likely
name. He is
story.
working a double, right?
I don't know. He did just put a message in chat. I don't know.
I'm just saying he could have declined work. I mean, you don't have to take every shift.
No,
Saturday
Nah.
is for the boys. Like, I'm
Res-
just saying.
it's
Res-
Sunday.
Respect.
It's Saturday somewhere.
I mean, maybe.
Is
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's not.
no. I think the maybe.
It's literally
I'm
not.
sorry,
I
what?
don't think so.
I try to think based on our time zone if there's anywhere that it would still be Saturday.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I think we're in for a wild week next week.
I think Japan's
Uh,
back 12 hours.
I don't know if it's forward or back.
Are you
I
guys
think, I think they're back.
Back
word.
it up.
Are you
Are
guys
they forward?
excited to spend?
Sorry.
No, you're
Always.
fine. Are you guys excited to spend about 40 minutes on both Akadama and Jujutsu Kaisen talking about how great their episodes are, and then to spend the rest of the podcast arguing between Day Became a God and Taiso?
It's actually it's actually just gonna be like I think we gotta reverse the flow a little bit. I think we gotta go like backwards. Start with Taiso, and then Day I Became a God.
No, we need to get the ones that we know are
Because
safe
we
out of
already
the
know
way.
that the two shows are gonna be good.
So we could
So,
just
I
talk
think-
about those two
don't
first.
know
We
that.
could do. That's fair. We don't know.
It's true, but I mean,
Do we want the voting results?
yeah, let's
I
roll.
think we already know what it is.
It
but
is
yeah.
2 slaves for Day Became a God, 3 for Iwakakaru.
Yeah.
Everything-
Tommy hasn't voted.
I mean, you're right. You're
think
right.
Tommy would agree.
Tommy would have voted Iwakaru.
I don't know.
He's hated that show since we started.
He might
this
have. He might have
podcast.
voted both.
Probably voted both. Yeah. that's
And
true.
I'll be honest with you. If you put let's talk. If we put us down to a discussion tie, and you had to pick between Day Became a God and Iwakakaru.
Day I Became a God,
They
100%.
became a god 100%.
Oh boy.
100%.
I want to bring it to the wheel.
Well, if Tommy was here, we might have had the possibility.
I think
Maybe.
Tommy would have just voted Slay on both.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think, but
Also true.
I don't know. I'm not Tommy.
That's true.
Wonderful.
Man.
Well,
Okay.
today's episode was pretty short. I felt like
Yeah, I mean this was
Hour.
roughly
It's almost like we don't have that
An
many
hour
shows
45?
left.
about an hour 45. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
mean, the stream up time is right there. If anyone else is on the stream in mod view.
yeah.
What do you guys got on the agenda this week?
I'm gonna finish
Finals.
Violet Evergarden.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yes.
probably finish Blood Blockade Battlefront.
I've got like 5 quizzes to make up.
Yo, wait, Tommy. If
Oh.
you're in chat, would you have voted Iwakakaru and Day I Became a God?
I don't think he's still in chat.
Oh, you don't think he's still in chat?
I can DM
He's
him.
not. He's not currently showing as a.
Oh, how long ago
user
did he
in
type
chat.
Hear
that
us talking
message?
shit.
I don't.
I think a
know.
while ago.
I can't see from my
5:47, so
view.
13
Yeah,
minutes ago.
5:47.
He just typed in fucking COD's Ashton chat, so
True. Okay, so but like, I might go back and finish. Actually, what is it called? Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun.
You should.
Have you guys heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
very
have
good.
no
Yes, very
idea.
good show.
Michael
It's
Watch
very
watched it.
funny.
Yes.
Opening's a banger.
It is.
That and I'm watching Haikyuu. So
Oh,
Good.
I'm not watching it yet because I'm
That's what I need to
waiting for
watch.
it to finish.
it's almost done, right?
okay.
I mean, yeah, it
I
should
watched-
be on par with our stuff.
I watched 3 minutes of Onyx Equinox and was thoroughly disappointed that it was a dubbed show or dubbed show.
Wait, there's on Crunchyroll they have like 7 dubs.
Yeah, it's only dubbed.
Wait,
Is it really
there's
no-
no Japanese
There's
variant,
no Japanese.
but they have
It's-
a Portuguese, German, French, Spanish.
Yeah, that's
That's wild.
That's the
How is the dubbing bad?
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Oh my-
it's very bad.
The default has to be English because the rest of them are all non-English dubs. Oh my god.
That's actually wild. Yeah,
It's
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead,
it's
Jack.
bad.
Oh.
No.
Are you gonna keep watching Dora Hedora?
Maybe sometime. I got some other shit to watch.
Well, you
Catch
gotta
up
watch
on.
Shield Hero with Dylan if he does that.
Oh fuck yeah, I will.
If he has time from finals.
Whenever Pablo has time, I will sit down and watch as many episodes of Shield Hero with you
Okay.
on
And-
your time
And
schedule.
whenever you have time, let me know and we'll watch Critical Role. I'll be caught up to where you are.
Yeah, let me know when y'all are current.
Oh,
Dylan, what episode am I
God.
getting to for you? 101?
Ow,
Holy
don't
shit!
102?
102? I'll get to one. I'll watch through 101 and I'll stop at 102. How about that?
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, let me know.
I
We'll
am
make sure
5
we're-
episodes ahead of y'all.
Yeah,
What are you on, Sean?
I'm like only. I think I'm like halfway through 99.
Oh, okay.
Fuck.
So I'm probably gonna finish Violet Evergarden. I'm gonna catch up on Marhurst, Zeist. I'll never know how to
Excuse
say that show's name. I will also probably, if I have time, binge through fucking Dragon Quest.
You're
Why?
still watching that
I'll
show.
I'll see how it is. I'm into
How
it.
has it?
I haven't watched it since we voted it off.
Oh,
Besides like the one
okay.
episode after. So like
Which-
that's why I
which
said I'm
one?
gonna binge through it. Dragon Quest.
Oh god.
So I'll probably put myself through that to experience it. Michael had a show he wanted me to watch. It wasn't a regular. What was it? It was a high school show.
I could not. I don't remember, but we passed it and I was like, watch that one.
It wasn't.
Oh, have y'all watched Standing on a Million Lives?
No.
I think it's okay.
That's not good enough for me to watch it.
I mean, it's like your standard trash isekai.
Yeah, that's not. I'd rather watch like Assassin's Pride or
Why?
Demon King High School.
Demon King High School is actually good though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because it's satirical as fuck, isn't it?
It's fucking good. That's
I'll
what it is.
eventually watch Talents Nana.
Oh,
I watched one
True.
episode of that. That is something
Classroom
I
of the
did
Elite.
forget.
That was the one I was telling
Classroom
you
of
to
the Elite. I
Oh,
will
that- oh,
probably
that's
watch.
fucking-
I will
that's a-
probably
That
watch
show is
Classroom of the
amazing.
Elite.
That's a banger of
I
a
won't
show.
say amazing. I'll say it's very mid until like the end of it, and then it's like what the fuck.
Thing is, it
And then
just
you're like,
fucking
what-
ends with like no
Yeah.
next season.
Season
it's like,
2 got
fuck.
delayed. It was
Yeah.
actually got canceled because of I think like the people who were gonna adapt it dropped it.
Sometimes animes don't get to continue
Lucky.
because things happen. Like
But like all
High
like the
School
source
of the
material
Dead.
like isn't there. I think it's like is it light novel?
I don't know. Probably.
I think it's a light novel show, and I haven't gone and read that. The manga only goes up to where the anime did. I checked that, which is unfortunate.
Michael,
'Cause I
send
like
me a
pictures.
message with that name so that I don't forget it because it's already out of my brain again.
Classroom
anyone-
of the Elite.
Classroom of the Elite. So send it to me so I don't forget.
Classroom Elite's really good. You haven't watched that?
No. Michael said it's
Pablo,
like
you
right up
seen
my.
that?
It's Michael said it's right up my alley though.
It's good. Elvis
It's
has
big
watched
brain.
it too.
Big
Elvis
brain.
watched it too. It's really good.
Damn.
If I get a hold of Elvis, I'll finish Aruhi no Sora.
Oh,
Any
I'm
else
still
seen,
watching Ruby. Oh, the last episode of Ruby was so good.
Have any of y'all seen Kisniver?
No.
What?
Ooh, that one's good.
I've heard good things about kids.
Have any of y'all watched Free?
I've
Free.
watched like the first couple episodes of Free.
Pretty good swimming show. Not gonna
I
lie.
have not, but I've watched a season of Love Live, so
Yeah, I also plan to go back and give Yuri Camp a second chance before its second season comes out, but that's off in the distance. Yeah, but Aruhi no Sora like finally ended last season, and we like stopped watching it. Like we watched it in bulk. Like we let episodes build up for it. It's a basketball show.
What show?
Aruhi no Sora.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I have to.
Have you
We're on like the last arc of it.
Has
So,
anyone seen
yeah.
Gakko Gradashi or School Live?
No.
Fuck, I don't know.
Nay.
That one's good.
School Live?
Yep. You don't want to read anything about the show though. You want to just
Nope.
watch the first episode.
Not my
first.
type of show.
It actually probably is.
Jackman, I don't know what your type of show is anymore. This podcast has changed all my expectations of what I thought you liked.
What do you mean?
He's just an action slut. That's all it is.
I've literally told you that I just like garbage.
He liked Gleipnir.
Wait. Yeah,
Gleipnir is
Gleipnir's
pretty
a
good.
good show.
I mean, I'll probably
Gleipnir's a
give
good
it.
show.
I might give it a second chance.
You just have to get past.
I might not give you a
literally-
second chance, Sean.
You literally have to get past the third episode, and it's really good.
If it somehow turns around, I'll be very
Because
impressed.
she no longer goes into him naked. She just wears like a swimsuit.
Look, all I'll say is that we had Nathan described it as a meat mecca, and I can never go back to that show.
That's actually very true, though.
You say a meat mecha?
Yeah.
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 it's-
Have you not seen Gleipnir?
Oh.
So
like it.
the idea is
like
that the
it.
main
No, I would
character
not.
can
You
like
100%
turn into
would.
a beast, but like he's like a really big mascot
What do you think?
costume.
I'm like a fucking furry? Like no.
And the idea is that
That's
a
B&A.
female that is
Alright.
like a year younger than him goes inside of him like through like a zipper on the back to
I
control
will
him.
send an
Oh,
image.
yeah.
But the inside is like the
Oh,
inside of a
You
human
really
body.
don't. You really
Oh,
don't
like,
have to, Jackman.
I'm going to.
It's a
I've
meat
seen
mecha.
Gleipnir. I know what Gleipnir is.
Oh, you've seen
not
it? I thought
interested
you
in
said you
no,
didn't see it.
I've heard of it. I just have not seen it.
Dude, it's right up your fucking alley.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
Wait, we're still streaming.
Oh,
Wild.
absolutely. Yeah, I didn't stop.
Oh, 100%.
I didn't intend to stop. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're on like what episode?
7?
No. Well, this is
Wait.
episode 7 of the podcast. Yeah. For shows, is it episode 9 for Akadama or is it?
I think
It's 9 for
Good
9 for
question.
Akatama,
Nine.
9 for Akadama, 10 for Dad Became
Jujutsu.
a God in Jujutsu, right?
Mhm.
And then
10
9
for
for
everything, I'm
Taiso.
pretty sure.
No, that Taiso's also 9.
Yeah, so
Akadama's
yeah,
9.
yeah.
I think
2
those are
9s
accurate. I'll
and
post it.
everything else is
10.
And 2 10s.
10.
So
Mhm.
next week we figure out what our top 3 is.
Let's go.
Fuck.
Also, Gymnastic Samurai is only an 11 episode show. You guys know that, right?
Ooh.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, isn't.
Only 3 episodes left.
Oh,
I thought it was 12. I could have sworn it was
Nope.
12.
well, that's
It's a
important.
very weird 11.
That would make a very interesting top 3: an 11, a 12, and a 13, if that was what made it. But we'll see.
We'll have to see.
Hmm.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.